Hello and welcome to the final tutorial, and in this one I'm going to be showing you how to make a border and also how to export your final poster as a flat image so that it can be used or printed or distributed to other people or whatever you want to do with it. So I've decided for my poster that I want a border. I really like borders around posters. It just kind of finishes them off quite nicely and kind of contains them properly. You don't have to do one, it's completely up to you. It's your poster, but I am going to do one. Is that in the middle? No, it wasn't in the middle. Well spotted, Mr. Van Zommerplaag. So there are actually several ways of doing a border. This is probably the simplest one. I'm going to go to rectangle. I'm going to make sure I'm at the top of my stack of layers, and I'm going to draw a rectangle that completely covers the page. And again, I've got guidelines turned on or snapping turned on, so that is exactly the size of the A3 piece of paper. Now if I click on this rectangle that I've drawn, you can see that it's telling me that it has a fill which is white and it has no stroke. Now I don't want to fill, so I'm going to click on fill and then the strike through, and then for stroke I do want a stroke and I want the stroke to be white. Then I can just go to my width and I can just make it as wide as I want it to be. That was easy, wasn't it? Like that. Yes. So now I've got a border, everything feels nice and contained inside a border. I think that's everything, and so my poster is now ready to export. So before I export it, of course, I should have been saying this all along, but you need to save it. So I'm going to go to the File menu, Save As, and I've already saved it previously, Man on the Moon. Instead of tutorial, I'm going to call it Final and save it. Now that is an Affinity Designer file, which is great because you will get, you can open up those and then edit them and edit all the different components. But if you were giving it to somebody else to print or you were putting it on Shobi, you wouldn't want it to be an Affinity Designer file because Shobi wouldn't understand it and neither would anybody else that didn't have that software. So we need to convert this into a normal kind of graphics object file, like a JPEG, for instance. So if I go back to the File menu and this time choose Export, this window will open, and this gives us lots of options about how we export it. There's a few ways to do it. Really, the professional way of doing it is as a PDF. So I'm going to click on PDF, and it's asking how much we want to export. We want the whole document, and we probably want to include the bleed as well. So I'm going to check that whole document and then click on Export, and we'll put that on the desktop, and it will think a little bit and do the conversion and stick it on the desktop, which is great. But I'm also going to export it as a JPEG, just as a normal graphics image. So back to export, and this time I'm going to choose JPEG, best quality. Here's the pixel dimensions, quality to the max, I think, and area, the whole document. Click on export, Man on the Moon poster, save. Okay. So let's have a look at those and just see what we actually got there. So I'm going to go to the desktop. First of all, here's the PDF. Just make that a little bit smaller. Now PDFs are interesting because they can contain vector elements and also bitmap elements. So if I zoom in, I'll open it first, double click to open it. There we go. You can see that this is actually a really high quality file. If I zoom in on the text, look, it stays really sharp. Whereas the stars, which are a bitmap image, they become pixelated like that. Just looking at that, did you notice that, my friends? It's not done a very good job there, has it? Look at that. I wasn't expecting that. From a distance, it looks okay, but yeah, that wasn't great. Let's see what the JPEG looks like. The JPEG, ironically, might have done a better job with that. Yeah, it has. Look, it really has. So if I zoom in on the JPEG up to where the moon is, yeah, look at that. It's done it properly. That's interesting. But you can see that this is a JPEG because the monster, and we know the monster is a vector, but look at that. It's made of pixels now because it's converted it into a JPEG. And JPEG is not vector graphics. So there we are. So there's our file, our final finished file, and that's ready to be handed into Shobi or printed out or given to somebody or used as a screensaver or anything else that you can think of to do a JPEG with. That's brilliant. Okay, so thanks for watching all these tutorials, and over to you, and good luck with your posters. Really, really looking forward to seeing them and hope you enjoy using the software. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.